is Shruti Patel, and for my self-improvement project, I decided to journal. So my purpose statement for this project, I decided to focus on an emotional and spiritual wellness. I chose journaling as my means to document my daily activities and my general emotional response to the day. I chose to focus on these dimensions of wellness because I have been struggling with anxiety and depression as well. I've received professional help to manage my symptoms, but through journaling, I hope to really focus on my emotions and engage in self-reflection by really just focusing in on all the things that are happening in my life in a more productive and healthy way. So these are my first two entries that I had. I started by just writing, like free writing at the end of each day, really just expressing my thoughts and emotions, how I felt that day, what my interactions were with my peers, what they were like. And I found this really helpful because it not only allowed me to articulate how I felt, but also release any negative energy in a healthy and productive way. Also, reading back on some of the entries was really helpful because I could monitor my progress that way and see how much I had been improving throughout the whole process. So, for example, the entry that's on the left is one of my very first entries, and it was really just me addressing the overall overwhelming emotions that I was feeling that day. I just remember it was, I think after I had lab, which was very long and just stressful, and there was a lot going on just mentally as well, that I had been struggling with, and so it was a nice way to just let all that out and really just, allow myself to feel what I was feeling. And then the entry on the right is similarly, it's just, another check-in with myself and acknowledging that it's okay to feel how I was and that, my emotions are valid and like just validating my emotions in that way. So as I continued the project, I found myself really enjoying the ability to put my emotions to words. And I felt like, in a sense, I was giving them a new life by doing this, by writing them down. And so as each week went by, I found myself writing more in a poetic way. And so then I decided to give poetry a kind of a shot, to be able to express myself in a more artistic way. And I still felt like this was a way that I was able to journal because it was still me being expressive of my emotions and allowing myself to find a sense of mental peace. So the poem on the left is one I wrote just last week, and then the one on the right is one I wrote when I first transitioned to just writing poems. So the one that I first transitioned to, the one on the right, I was actually just sitting in the library and it was raining pretty hard and I was done with classes for the day and I was about to head back to my room, but I decided to write. And so I took inspiration from just the atmosphere around me, the weather, the environment, and just how I was feeling that day. It was really beautiful to be able to draw that connection with my own emotions, and I thought it was a really unique feeling as well. But essentially, like, if you can see, it just really, I was trying to talk about the fear that, sometimes kids have with, like, thunderstorms, but then also relating that back to how I am as an adult now, and just validating those feelings and emotions and, essentially making it okay to feel that way, and, yeah. And then so the one on the left is actually one that's more spiritual, and religiously tied, and I consider myself a very religious person, so I try to incorporate some of my religious beliefs and morals as well, and really intertwine them and create something that's truly meaningful to me. So these were a few of the resources that I used when I first started journaling. I hadn't really journaled before this that much. I would write down, occasionally some of my thoughts, some of my feelings, but never like consistently like I did with this project. So these resources were really helpful in that they helped, specifically, like, the second one that's like central, it helped kind of give me a structured layout of how to go about journaling and do it in a way that felt organized and, fit for me as well. So throughout the past few weeks, I have felt like I have built a stronger connection with myself. And I feel like a lot of the time before, I would spend making sure that others around me, like my friends and my family, were okay and like satisfied with their needs. But through this process of writing and journaling, I learned that it's really important to be content and happy with yourself as well, to allow the best version of yourself to really show with your friends as well. And so some of the key takeaways that I had from doing this project include just feeling more grounded and expressing myself in a healthy way, decreasing my stress and anxiety by letting out my feelings and just writing them down, learning to center myself with my religion and spirituality, and just most importantly, overall, staying true and to myself and just being my authentic self. So, yeah, thank you for listening. And yeah, that was my project.